Hey you, welcome back. I know it's been a very long time. I feel like I need to give everybody the new intro or give everybody the welcome intro because I have not posted in a while, but it is for a good reason, and this very video will tell you exactly why I did not abandon you guys. I'm so grateful if you actually click back on this video after me being gone so long. And so just to give a little quick intro, if anyone has ever seen me before, my name is Rachel and I make faith-based beauty and lifestyle related content here on YouTube. So if that sounds like something that you want to see, please consider subscribing and you can go and check out the rest of my videos. Lots of you may be looking at this video or looking at the title of this video and wondering if Rachel has gone halfway crazy. And the truth is, if you are full of Christ, majority of the time people are going to be thinking you are crazy. And that is just the fact. You may be seeing the title and wondering, how exactly can pain be a privilege? Who wants to be in pain? Who wants to go through struggles? Who wants to go through difficulties in life? Who wants to be uncomfortable? What privilege could come from suffering? But I promise, if you just stick with me as we go along and I explain my testimonies and my story, you will kind of get a deeper understanding of where I'm trying to go with it. First thing that I want us to do so that you can understand a bit more of where I'm heading in this video is we're going to actually look at the definition of privilege, right? So the first definition is an advantage that is given for a particular group of people. The second definition is something regarded as a special honor. And so again, you may be saying to yourself, how can pain be something special, be an honor, be an advantage? The first point that I want to touch on here is protection. So you guys would have met my cute kitty, Jack, in my last video. And I am a person who I believe God cares about what we care about. I know God cares about what we care about. And He cares about every single living thing that He has made. When I started growing my relationship with Christ, I would not only pray for my friends and family, but I would also pray for my cat. Because the truth is, if you have an outside cat, there are risks. There are potential possibilities of your cat getting hurt. My cat ended up breaking his hip. And to this day, I cannot tell you how it happened, but I could tell you that I was devastated. It was difficult because I don't like seeing people that I, people, things, whatever you want to call it. I don't see things that I care for. Seeing those things hurts me. And then it was an unexpected expense as well. I remember I was just, after I came out of my shock, that is, I remember I was questioning God and I was saying like, yo, like, what is this? I pray over my cat. I trusted you with him, God. Like, why did you let this happen? And He showed me that it was not the fall, or it was not what happened to him that hurt him, but it was His hand, His mighty hand. He proved to me that his broken hip was the lesser of the evil. He was supposed to die that day and he did not die because God was protecting him. So sometimes we ourselves make decisions that God didn't even want for us in the first place. Or things happen to us. You may get in an accident. You are so upset that your car insurance is going to go up and your car is messed up and you're going to have to get things fixed and you are shaking up or whatever. But God knows you. God knows your life. God sees beginning and end. So the fact that He allowed something to happen, you were probably hurt and shaken up, and you did go through pain. However, it was the lesser of two evils, and He actually protected you from something that was even bigger that you don't even know. So sometimes we get ourselves even in situations, in relationships, in friendships, in jobs, and we are so blinded by the fact that, we finally have somebody to love, we finally have somebody in our lives, we're finally getting good money, and we're not realizing what we're actually getting ourselves into. And you may end up losing that job, losing that friend, losing that relationship because God saw that it wasn't good for you. And not only you would have not only deviated from his plan for you, but you would have gotten yourself into so much more trouble than you could have ever imagined. And he had to put a stop to it. He had to put his hand out to disrupt whatever you got yourself into so that he could put you back on the path that he wants. He had to put his hand up to stop the worst outcome. Not only do we unknowingly put ourselves in situations, but the enemy wants to attack us as well. God will still allow certain things to happen, so you will not come out unscathed. There will still be some hurt from the loss, from the damage, but that is simply because there's still something else that needs to come out of it. And in all of that, when things are going on, when we're going through pain, it is so important to give thanks. It is an honor. It is an honor to know that God is looking out for us. It is an honor to know that he wants the best for us. It is an honor to know that he cares about what happens in our lives. And when things go wrong, even though we can't see the end all, or we may not always see the reasons why, we still have to give thanks, because at the end of the day, God is good. And whatever decision he makes is good, regardless of what you may think it is. That is something I had to learn in my situation with my cat. And so I'm here to say today, like, whenever something happens to you, don't be the first thing come out of your mouth, like, God, oh God, why me? Oh God, woe is me. Oh God, oh, you should do this. But give thanks. Give thanks. And then you can go seeking and questioning, because there's always more than one reason why something happens. Now, the second thing that I want us to go into is pruning/preparation. I want us to think, I'm going to pop up the Bible verse that I'm speaking of here to kind of help with my point. God treats us like a beautiful flower in a garden. And at times, that flower will grow weeds. The weeds can stifle the flower, and it won't even be able to reach its full potential or be as fruitful as the Lord had intended it to be, because the weeds are there either causing destruction, either causing pain, harm, and he needs to get rid of it. Plain and simple. There are branches or weeds that need to be taken off and cut off, and the trees need to be pruned so that they can be their most fruitful and flourish. So do we need to get rid of things that are not of God, things that we picked up along the way from trauma, from past hurt, things that we picked up along the way from our environment, from people that we are around. Those things would cause us to not be able to be our best self, be the person that God wants us to be, take us onto our path, into our purpose. God has to put us through these trials and allow stuff to happen so that we can learn from them. And you will find that every time you go through something, there's something to learn from it. And it picks away at your pride, it picks away at your selfishness, it picks away at your idolatry, it picks away at all the things that you have built up for yourself to put God at the forefront. This is going to put me in my next point. I got really sick, and I was in a whole lot of pain. Now, I have had shingles, I have had tonsillitis, I have had lots of pain otherwise, but this pain, it was like really, really bad. I would probably put it up there with shingles in the pain category. So much pain that I had even ended up in the hospital because the illness was so bad, and it had to be treated through professionals, not the little at-home remedies. So in that moment, God showed me that my relationship with food and my health was needed to be taken care of in order for me to propel and to go further into where he needed to take me. I was sort of putting food before God, or putting things that I like before God in that sense. Because even though I knew that eating certain things would make me sick, I still did it anyway because I just wanted the pleasure of it. And a lot of people can relate to that in life. We take up things, we use substances, we use people, we use jobs, we use money, we use clothes to satisfy us, make us feel better. When the truth is that the only person who can do that or help us to do that or satisfy us is the living water of God. So he put me through that whole process to allow me to see how important it is to not allow things to be put before him and put before my purpose. Because in order for us to be at the most optimal level, our body is a vehicle and our body is a temple. And for God to truly dwell in us, for everything to move in harmony, your spirit, your soul, and your body, you need to be in optimal health. Some people struggle so much with, for instance, money. And you'll find that God will probably allow them to lose their job because he needs them to understand that he is their only source. We can't be looking to other things to provide for us instead of trusting in him. A part of this pruning also is to grow your faith and test your faith and allow you to grow in patience and humility, because so many of us are lacking that. We want things now, we want it fast, we want a lot of it, we want it in abundance, and we want it when we want it, we want what we want, and that is not how life works. That is not how God works. In order for us to truly understand faith, for us to truly grow our faith, for us to truly understand patience, you have to be put in situations that are going to allow the development of that skill, the development of that trait. There is no growth in comfort. It's impossible. Athletes can tell you. Anybody who goes to the gym can tell you. The way to grow muscle is to constantly apply pressure and lift heavier weights, because your body is going to get used to doing the same thing over and over again. So you have to be doing different things to bring yourself to a different level and push yourself. And it's painful. And that's one of the reasons why it took me so long to make this video, because not only was I recovering physically, but I was recovering spiritually and trying to sort out what was happening. There are definitely other things as well that came with my sickness, but I can tell you that that was one of the main ones. And I will probably do a video just on, health overall and what I've been doing so far. For us to gain the fruits of the Spirit, we have to be tested and put through trials that will allow for those fruits to come to fruition. Allow for those fruits to be able to grow. Our pruning and our preparation is indeed a privilege, is indeed an honor, because how could you ever refuse being a better person? Who doesn't want to be a better person? You can tell me right now in the comments if I'm wrong, but if life was going 100% perfect for you all the time, do you think you would be kind? Do you think you would be humble? Do you think you would be patient? Do you think you would be helpful and compassionate? Do you think you would even remember God in any way? We get the privilege of going through this pain so that we can be our best self. We need to look at trials as opportunities. We need to look at struggles as opportunities and look where we can grow. Look what this is teaching us. And at the end of the day, for us to suffer, it just means that we are in fellowship with Christ. Because who suffered more than him? It is a privilege to suffer for the glory that you will receive in the end, not just from the you growing as a person, but even when you get to go to heaven, so always keep in the mind in the back of your head, when we are going through things, where is the dead weight? Where is the dead weight that God is trying to shed off? What is the trauma that God is trying to unearth so that we can deal with and heal from? We need to be curious when pain is happening instead of hurrying to pray things away. And that is my advice to you guys. Third point is power. Going back to what I said the last time, right? A lot of us put things before God. And when we get ourselves certain places or we look to certain things, we take away that power, we take away that glory from God. So sometimes God will put us in situations where we have absolutely no choice but to rely on Him so that He can come and reveal Himself and reveal His power and reveal His strength and come through for us in the end. There are points in your life when God will literally shut every single door so that nobody can say that, oh, I did it and it hurts. That is what it's called pain. But we get to see God in full action. And what is more powerful than that? That is such a privilege that we get to experience God's glory. We get to experience His kindness. We get to experience His undenying love for us through our pain, because He shows up in the moment that we least expect, in the moment where things look dead, to prove that He is God. And so to go back to, my story, even with my cat, as I was telling you, I didn't know how I was going to pay for anything. God came through for me and allowed my sister to help out. And some people may say, oh, that's just a sister. No, she didn't have to do it. She did not have to do it. And that is also a lesson as well, that sometimes we believe that, oh, God is going to do some sprinkles and fairy dust magic and bring something out of thin air, when that is not the case a lot of the time. A lot of the times He uses people to show His power. In that moment, He used His daughter to bless me so that I could see that God loves me and God still cares about me, because He knew that I didn't have the money and He knew that I was stressed about where it would come from, but He provided anyway. He made provision. How would we ever know how good God is if we went out and just accomplished everything for ourselves? When Gideon and his people were going to fight the Midianites, right? God literally got rid of so many men because He Himself said to Gideon He would not want the men to exalt themselves and say that we were the ones who won the war. God wanted the glory for Himself. He wanted them to see that it was God that delivered the Midianites into their hands. God will make the situation look bleak, look dead. Jesus didn't go and raise Lazarus until the man was gone, because He knew the more difficult a situation seemed, the greater the glory that He would get. The more people would be drawn in, because He had done, quote unquote, the impossible. Next time we go through a situation or go through our trials or go through our struggles, be in expectation. Be in expectation of what the Lord can do. Do not think He's only going to work one way, and be prepared to be shocked and give Him all the praise that He deserves. And the last thing that I will touch on, which is exactly why I'm here, is proclamation. God allows things to happen so He can come through for us, and then we can go and shout it from the mountaintop of how God rescued us, God saved us. God helped us. God blessed us. It is through our pain when God comes in and swoops in and gives us a testimony that everyone can then see the glory of God. And it's things like this will make other people run to Him. Philippians, Paul talks about how the things that have happened to him only served for the good of the gospel. If we didn't have stories to tell, we wouldn't be able to carry on the good news and spread of how wonderful and awesome God is. If God didn't do all of these things to all these great people in the Bible, would they have had anything to write about? Just think about when we're going through things, who this can potentially save. And it's not that, oh, you're looking forward to a story or a testimony to make yourself famous, because that is wrong. Whenever we tell our testimony, it should always be on the forefront of showing up God and putting God first, showing how He took us out of a dark place. We should always seek to put God at the forefront. And I am so happy. It was difficult going through it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. Things happened back to back to back. Because right after I got out of the hospital, not right after I got out of the hospital, but while I was recovering from my illness, my phone ended up shutting off on me. So right then and there, when I already have been struggling with money, with pet care, with my illness, I had to go and find more money by a phone. But God was so good that He made a provision for that as well. And so, as I'm saying this to say, like, nothing I went through in those couple months, nothing I went through was easy. And I bawled so much, but never ever did anything utter out of my mouth that was bitter towards God. My heart never turned away from God, ever, and it never could. Because where am I gonna go? If I live with Him, if I die with Him, so I will tell you right now, from the bottom of my heart, I would rather to know that I'm struggling and I have Jesus right by my side, and that this will all pay off, because this time here on earth is just a little short span in comparison to the eternity that we have to live when we go to sleep and we leave this earth. And I would personally rather to know that I'm suffering to be a better person, and suffering for the glory of God, and suffering that I will receive my jewel and my crown when I get to heaven, and that Jesus has never left me in any of my situations. He feels my pain with me. And I would rather to know that than for me to say I'm denouncing God for what? For something temporary that has only been harming me in my life. I've been there, I've done that. And I'm telling you right now, I would never go back. Thank you guys so much for watching this video from the bottom of my heart. This was very hard to do, hard to go through. But I want this video to be encouragement for you, that He is there with you. He will carry you through. We are made weak so that we can see His strength. More of Him and less of me. That it should always be the goal, always be the aim. Pain is not forever. It's not. So just call on Him. Call on friends, family to support you, whatever it takes to get you through that. But believe me, you will go through. Because it says we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. It's not a race. You can't jump through it, you can't fly through it, you can't avoid it altogether. But God is there with you, and you will get out of it. So now it's your turn. I would really like to hear in the comments a time when you were going through something painful, but God showed up for you. I would really love to hear all of your stories. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.